this will be our last video from section 2.3. My directions are to solve the equations, and my first one is x plus 1/2 equals 5/4. I worked a problem like this in section 2.1, so there is another method of solving this type of fraction equation, and that method is, in order to get the x by itself, you can say minus 1/2 on each side. You'll get a common denominator and then just perform the indicated subtraction. So you can work this in a different way that we've studied earlier. If you don't like fractions though, you can cancel out the fractions by multiplying through by the common denominator. What I'm going to do first is go ahead and make this x into a fraction, putting x over 1. So x over 1 plus 1/2 would equal 5/4. My denominators are 1 and 2 and 4, so that means my common denominator is 4. I'm going to take that common denominator of 4 and I'm going to put 4 in each and every top. 4, 4, 4. Each of those fractions will simplify out. So my first fraction is just 4 times x over 1, which would actually just be 4x. My next fraction is 4 times 1 over 2. So 2 goes into 4 2 times. So that leaves you with 2 times 1, which is just 2. On the back side, I have 4 times 5 equals 4 times 5 divided by 4. So the 4's cancel out, and that just leaves you with a 5. I no longer have fractions. To solve it out from here, I have the equation 4x plus 2 equals 5. So I can move the 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. 4x would equal 3. To get x by itself, remember you're going to work on the x side and get rid of the 4. So I'll divide both sides by 4, and my resulting answer is x equals 3/4. Our last problem is x minus 2 divided by 3 minus 4 equals x plus 1 divided by 4. The first thing I'm going to do is put that 4 over 1 to make everything into a fraction. But I have one other little hint that's going to help you. If any of your numerators have more than one term, you need to put parentheses around the group. In other words, I have an x minus 2, I need to put parentheses around that. I have an x plus 1, I need to put parentheses around that. My denominators are 3 and 1 and 4, so that means my common denominator for this problem is a 12. You're going to multiply on all of the tops by 12. So a 12 goes here by this parenthesis, a 12 goes here by the 4, and a 12 can go here by this parenthesis. You can multiply the 12s through the parentheses first, but it's a little bit easier if you simplify first. So what I mean by that is I see in my first fraction a 12 over 3. Well, 12 over 3 is actually 4. So this term would actually simplify down and give me 4 times x minus 2. I'll distribute it in a step later. My next fraction is 12 times 4 over 1, so that would be minus 48. And in my last fraction, I have a 4 and a 12 outside the parentheses. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and so this would leave me with 3 times x plus 1. I no longer have I no longer have fractions, which is great, but I do have parentheses that I have to distribute through. Some of you might have done that distributing step earlier, which is just fine. I'm going to distribute the 4 through the parentheses x minus 2, and that gives me 4x minus 8. I already have a minus 48, so I'm just going to bring it down. And I'm going to distribute the 3 through its parentheses, which would be 3x plus 3. My resulting equation is 4x minus 8 minus 48 equals 3x plus 3. On the left side, I have like terms, so the 8 and 48 I can put together. So I have that 4x, I just bring that down, and then I have negative 8 and negative 48. Those have the same sign, so I'm going to add and keep the sign, and that gives me a negative 56 result. At this point, I need to get my x's together. So I have a 3x on the left that I want to move over. To move the 3x over, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. 4x minus 3x would leave me with x minus 56 equals 3. I ran out of room, so I'm going to write it a little higher. X minus 56 equals 3. To get x by itself, I'm going to move that 56, which means I'm going to add 56 to both sides, and x would equal 59. This concludes our study of equations with fractions.